Maybe you can't buy a Gucci bag or a Prada dress, but today you can rent it for 2 days and maybe that comes in your budget. If it was up to me, if I was God, I would stop it and I would have more sustainable product because it's good for the earth over a period of time.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Leadcast, part of the group's Soundbox initiative. Today we're joined by Satyaki Ghosh, a dynamic leader with over 27 years of expertise spanning FMCG, retail, and industrial business. As the CEO of the cellulosic fashion yarn business at Aditya Birla Group, Satyaki brings a wealth of experience from industry giants like L'Oreal, General Electric, PepsiCo, and Spencer's Retail. Previously, as CEO Domestic Textiles, he spearheaded breakthroughs including the launch of Cavallo Studios, a pioneering initiative embracing the wealth out of waste kind of concept. From shaping brands to driving innovation, his journey truly is nothing short of inspiring. Thank you so much, Satyaki, for joining us. It truly is a privilege chatting with you, and I'm sure everyone else who's watching is so looking forward to hearing your thoughts and reactions. Now, Satyaki, you've gone from launching fiery Lay's flavors to perfecting skincare formulations and now, of course, to pioneering sustainable fashion yarns. Is there a method to this madness, or do you just keep, it to keep life interesting? What drives you?
So every time I changed a job, I changed an assignment, I wanted to do more and learn more about general management. But along the way, what has happened in all these industries that I've learned about new products, I've learned about new industries, and frankly, life has remained interesting. So all in all, I think it has fallen in place.
I love that line about life has remained interesting. I think it has a lot to do with your mindset as well, but we'll talk about that. Now, PepsiCo's Ring of Honor is their highest accolade. What's the story behind that win of yours, precious win? And where do you keep the trophy?
So I'll answer where I keep the trophy. I keep it at home.
You do? Okay.
I keep it at home. But the story behind is a proud moment for me and my that time team. I came into the organization as the regional manager West for Lay's, based out of Mumbai. Now, the interesting piece of fact is my hiring manager was Samik Basu, who is now the Hindalco CHRO. So he can corroborate this. When I joined West, it was the Laggard region, and generally in FMCG business, West is either the biggest or the second largest region. East and South are always smaller. It's between North and West because the consumption is higher here. But West was the smallest, and there were a lot of issues. One of the biggest issue was that in salty snacks, one big competitor in Gujarat was Balaji chips. Now Balaji gave value for money. For 10 rupees, they gave 75 grams. And Lay's gave 40 grams at that point in time. And the Gujarati mindset was VFM was Balaji. So our market share in Gujarat, when the All India market share was close to 40% in salty snacks, Gujarat market share was 2%. So it was a very tough market to go in because nobody wanted to keep Lay's. Isme to hawa rehta hai ji and all of that. So that market, I think we conquered. And we got the 2% to 18%, which took Lay's from 40% to 45-46% because Gujarat was such a big market and we were just not being able to penetrate. So that was a big win because for last 5-10 years, we were not being able to crack the Gujarat market. And we did another thing in Mumbai, in Delhi, the business was these large racks in Green Park, Saket, outside the stores where Lay's would get stored. And Lay's in effect became modern trade because before modern trade came in. Because in a Kirana store, you could touch and feel Lay's chips. So the optics went up. In Bombay, on the streets, in the small shops, you couldn't put the big racks. If you put them, BMC picked them up with the stock. And the loss was the company's. Because no shopkeeper partakes in losses, right? No businessman does. So we created this small, what we call Trimurti racks, which the khokas in Bombay panwalas, they close in the night. So when they open like this. So we put them on here, so it was not on the footpath, and you could still have, but it was a small thing. So the offtakes were high, so our service frequency had to go up. So we executed that to perfection. So because of these two, our sales went through the roof, and West became the fastest growing region. And that was the reason I got the Ring of Honor.
What's one innovation in sustainable textiles that kind of excites you the most?
I think this recycling of polyester has come a long way. We don't deal in polyester. Polyester is our competitor, but polyester has done really well. Now recycling is happening in a lot of parts within ABG. We have a fashion uh, and textile hub, I won't say hub, a testing hub lab called TRADC in Kharach. They are working with a lot of our textile companies. For example, they're working with domestic textiles on recycled linen. They're working with us, CSY business, on recycling of our waste. They're working with the viscose business to recycle their waste. And we are trying to create products through recycling. The products that have been used, industry waste, and also some post-consumer waste. How can you get it back, make it back into a fiber, and regenerate products so that you don't throw away and it doesn't go in earth stashing. So that's one. There's also a business called Thai acrylic fiber, which I ran for 3 years in between. They have generated a product in acrylic fiber called Regel, which is made from regenerated wasted fibers. And they have reached about 50% waste products with 50% fresh. And the product is selling at a premium over their regular ecru product. That is a great example of regeneration of textile products where you can work on circularity.
Okay, you've said that true sustainability is about doing good for yourself without harming others. Now, if you could make one sustainability rule that the entire fashion industry had to follow, what would it be?
From a fashion industry perspective, I think reuse is a big piece coming up. Uh, you know, in our childhood days, our mothers always used to do it. There used to be a feriwala who would come with steel ka bartan, and they would give them old kapda and get some bartan or give something in exchange. Now, where do those kapda go? They go to the next level town, next economic layer, and people use it. So in India, I think it was always there, but now it is more fashionable. If you go to West, if you go to even Nordic or the European countries, developed European countries, on the high streets you see reuse shops where people who have used it 2 3 times have given away, it's laundered, beautiful, and you're using something that is reused, and the shops are full of people and people are buying. So reuse is in fashion, and it builds circularity in the fashion industry. It just helps.
Okay. I mean, we know you're not a fan of fast fashion. As someone who has seen the industry evolve firsthand, what's your take on the future? I mean, especially when it comes to moving away from fast fashion. What do you believe is the future?
Fast fashion, I may not like it. It's my wish list that it should not exist, but it will remain to exist because the middle class is growing. But the middle class in India, when it grows, when you say middle class, then the middle class actually doesn't have that much spending power, the real middle class. So fast fashion is here to stay. Also because the next generation, or some of us also, don't want to wear the same thing in two parties. So how many times can you buy a 10,000, 12,000 rupee dress and throw it away? So you will buy good looking, cheaper products and buy many. The economy also runs on demand supply. So maybe fast fashion does something for the economy and the demand situation. So it's not going to go away because of these reasons. I think I talked about reuse and how it is coming into the fore in the Western and more developed economies. The other thing that is happening in the luxury segment is that there is a renting model that is coming through. So maybe you can't buy a Gucci bag or a Prada dress, but today you can rent it for 2 days, and maybe that comes in your budget. And you can go to a party in a Prada dress with a Dolce Gabbana sunglass and a Gucci handbag. And it's only on rent. So you can keep changing. And the same dress goes elsewhere through laundering process, etc. etc. So it's very healthy. But this is an internet idea that is taking shape, and VCs are investing in it because the merchandise costs a lot, the original merchandise. So these kind of things will be more and more seen. Bombay Fashion Circuit already has. Bombay has a couple of startups on that.
What's your secret to work-life balance? I know we spoke briefly about it earlier. And can the rest of us borrow some of that discipline?
Yeah, I think the name of the game is discipline. I build my holiday plan much in advance so that my boss knows and my team knows when I'm not there. I try to build a holiday calendar for my immediate team so that we are never all out together, you know. So for this year, for example, I have a short holiday in April, which was finalized in February, and I have a 10-day holiday at the beginning of June, which was finalized in March. So all tickets, all bookings are made. Purnata is applied, Purnata is signed off. My team knows when I'm going on leave. So I manage that. That needs discipline and planning. But also it needs one bit of thing that you don't carry over your leaves. You take your leaves as much as you can, uh, and you plan well. So which gives you some work-life balance. And on an immediate basis, I think during the weekdays, during work hours, you gossip a bit less. You do all your meetings on time. You manage this meeting also. I started on time, so you just manage your day so that you can go back home and have some time for exercise or whatever else you want to do.
Now, as someone who has regularly seen and engaged with new and budding talent up close and personal through campus hiring or talent councils, I mean, Satyaki, give us a sense of how you see Gen Next workforce, their working style, their work ethos, and their expectations.
I think Gen Z or Gen Next is very knowledgeable. I doubt we were this knowledgeable at that age. They have the advantage of having internet on their fingertips, smartphones, chat GPT now, and whatnot, maybe DeepSeek, whatever they're using. But they're very knowledgeable. They just know a lot about a lot of things. I think they're ambitious. They want to achieve big things in life. A lot of them want to actually run their own businesses. They ideally don't want to work for anybody else. But I think they like work-life balance, but I think they still work. They are very focused on finishing their assignments, finishing the work that they have been given or that they have taken up themselves. A lot of them in their college days actually have never slept in the nights. They always studied in the nights and slept during the day. So if you expect the generation next to be up and smart at 9:30 and finish their work by 11:30 in the morning, generally it's not happening. But during the day they'll finish it. So if you give them responsibility with accountability, I think it works with them.
I mean, you've become a general manager at 36 and led L'Oreal under 40. If you could give your 36-year-old self a piece of advice, from the Satyaki of today, what would that be?
Listening more and being patient. I have learned a lot in Aditya Birla Group actually to give the due where it is due. The assignments that I have done here have really taught me to listen much more patiently.
You've made choices that prioritize family over work. Something that's rare, I'd like to believe, in high pressure industries, especially. I mean, is there a moment to tell us about that moment in your leadership journey where you knew you had made the right call by putting family first?
I think there are a couple. I'll talk about the latest one here, which also somehow uh, mixes ABG with it. I used to work in Paris for L'Oreal. My mother passed away. My father didn't take it very well, and I thought that I had already done the India job and I was expatriated to Paris, and I would have led 15, 18 years of expatriate life in various parts of the world. Most probably I would have made a lot of money in the process and great cultural experience, etc. But I thought hard, and I thought that if I, in the process, if I lose my dad in a year or two and I don't do something about it, then maybe all of my life I'll have money and a lot of regrets. So that is when I came back to India with this ABG Textiles job, and I'm thankful to ABG for helping me land in India. And since then, it's 8.5 years. It's my longest stint in a group actually in ABG now, and I've changed jobs within ABG. I've done 2-3 jobs, and I've learned, like I told you, patience and listening skills, etc. But that is the moment I took a big decision to move from a very glamorous L'Oreal FMCG, a very digital kind of a world, into manufacturing, half B2B, half B2C kind of a role based in India. And I don't regret it. I had him for 7 years till he passed away last year. And I think those 7 years are worth their weight in gold for me. So
Right.
that's one example that I can take.